Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia and a quick update from the Avdiivka front and the battle of Avdiivka. The first thing first is the statement coming from Ukraine. The Commander-in-Chief Alexander Syrsky have made a statement. He said that based on the operational situation around Avdiivka, which you know because you follow DPA, and they want to avoid encirclement, which is currently happening as I have already briefed in previous reports. He want to preserve the life and the health of the servicemen. He decided to withdraw the unit from the city and move to defense on more favorable lines. So he praised his troops doing their best, and they are taking measures to stabilize the situation. So they will still return to Avdiivka, just like they said that they will return to Bakhmut, which they still haven't returned to Bakhmut just yet. So in essence, they are withdrawing from Avdiivka. However, this does not mean that the battle of Avdiivka is over. The Russian forces still have a lot of grounds to cover. We're talking about like 6-7 kilometers of city to go across, and from north to south there's another 4 kilometers. And so this is quite a big area for the Russian forces to cover. And despite they say that they ordered the withdrawal, clearly the withdrawal has been starting for the past 2-3 days. But the reality is a lot of troops are still in the city. According to the information from the pro-Russian sources, they say that they estimated another 3 to 5,000 troops are still in the city. And the entire route out of Avdiivka right now, there's only one dirt road. And this dirt road is muddy and is totally shot through. According to some instances, some rumors, Russian forces can even fire at Ukrainian troops that is going through the dirt road with rifles. So they are very, very close. And if you look at the map, it's indeed very, very close. We're talking about like 500 meters. And any Russian forces that is moving forward, they will definitely able to come into rifle range. And definitely if there is armored vehicles, it's 100% in range. So fire control is upon this one dirt road. And they can't even go to Lastochkyne right now. They have to go all the way to Giverny, which is yet another frontline town where the Russians is currently having a position just off Giverny and Tonenke. And they will have to travel through Tonenke and down the road up to Avdiivka, which is then the junction to get out of this area here. And so this is the current horrible situation that is currently in. And the battle of Avdiivka, like I said, despite the announcement of the withdrawal, is not over yet. The battle will continue. We will continue to monitor the frontline changes, and definitely there will be some battles being fought within Avdiivka, but the movement of the Russian troops is pretty fast. So in the northern part, the Russian forces continue to expand their control, and most importantly is that they are being they raised a flag over in the city park, and the raising of this flag basically announced the Russian forces entrance into slowly the entrance into the center of Avdiivka itself. So and they are very, very happy about it. You can see they are very, very happy about it, and this expands the control of this area here, and the speed of the advance also suggests that there is very minimal resistance. So from the Ukrainian side, clearly there is resistance. There's probably mines and booby traps and whatnot. So the Russian forces are moving carefully, cautiously, as per the entire front line, because both sides are using booby traps and mines and all sort of ambush and booby and explosive to kill each other. But even with all these barriers, this is still a lot of advance for 1 to 2 days. There is also geolocation of Russian forces of this position, so which means that they are also expanding their control. They are already at the Avdiivka train station, but it looks like there won't be some major battle over at the train station because the Ukrainian forces want their life. They want to run away, and so this is a situation over within the city itself. If we go westward to the outside of the city, the Russian forces continue to expand their control over in the western outskirts, and they continue to push in multiple directions, particularly towards Lastochkyne. And they're basically at the outskirts of Lastochkyne. There is only one tree line left, and they will hit the settlement of Lastochkyne with which I believe the Ukrainians have put up a strong defensive position right now. If they don't, then I do not know what the hell they are doing. They might as well just surrender the whole war. So this definitely, there must be some kind of strong defense at Lastochkyne to hold this position. Because if they lose this position, then the withdrawal from Avdiivka will be even more difficult, because this is a position where they will cover the retreat that will for the Ukrainian forces to go from behind of Lastochkyne. Right, like I said, the Ukrainian forces will have to travel to Sheveny, to Tonenke, and move up to Avdiivka. So this position is very important for the Ukrainians to hold. They have to hold this position against any Russian attacks in this area here. If they don't and they lose Lastochkyne, then the Russian forces will be able to continue to harass any retreating troops, and the attack will come to Avdiivka. Then they will not be able to go to Avdiivka. They will have to go even further west, which will just be very far away at Umansky, and this just don't make sense anymore. So this is the situation over in the northern part. There is also some other video geolocation of Russian forces within places that is already known to have captured. In the coke plant, the battle is not mentioned, but there is a significant. As you can hear, the situation at the coke plant is scary. So there is Ukrainian forces currently still holding this coke plant, and it is still a very good defensive position. I believe the Russian forces will continue to use it along with Lastochkyne as one cohesive defense line. But whether they will be able to hold it, if the troops have the motivation to continue to hold position, that's another story altogether. Over on the eastern part, there is geolocation of Russian forces raising the flag at the filtration station, and this basically validates the news that came out in my report yesterday. So Deep State UA, the pro-Ukrainian mapping, also considered the entire area here as under Russian control right now. So they have considered this entire area, and which means the Russian forces have made progress over this eastern part. And I believe the next progress is going to be really fast, but it will still take a few days to go through the forest, because there could be a lot of mines and booby traps that I mentioned. So they will have to slowly go through. Clearly, there are some roads. If they just follow through the small roads, the dirt roads, of course, then the advance will be faster. There will be still a lot of work to do in terms of the mining and the clearing of everything, but it will continue. In the south, there is geolocation. There is Russian troops at this flyover. At this flyover south of Avdiivka, which confirms Russian presence at this former stronghold. So this flyover is actually built into some kind of a defensive stronghold by the Ukrainians. They even have a name for it called the Sheburovska stronghold, and with the Russian flag being raised, it confirmed the Russian presence at this area here. So Russian mapping again still have not caught up with the Ukrainian mapping. They are still more conservative than Deep State UA. Like I mentioned, Deep State UA, the pro-Ukrainian mapping, is trying to put pressure on the Ukrainian command to quickly withdraw out of Avdiivka to save lives. So we will continue to monitor and see how this goes, because there might be internal politics involved. Maybe Deep State UA's team, they have direct links with the government, by the way, with the Ukrainian government, may not be on exactly the side of Sersky within the internal politics. So they may be more unwilling to hold back information. So we will continue to monitor and see, if this is the case, because Deep State UA usually do not go ahead of the Russian information so often, so commonly. This only happened after Sersky takeover, but of course it also coincides with the fall of Avdiivka. So we will continue to monitor. In the latest mapping, the Deep State UA also considered more grounds as they start to show that the Russian forces is starting to push from the south, where they have lost this position, this entire salient, this entire envelopment, and the Russian forces is now pushing towards the Khimik region, the Khimik district, which is the 9th district of the high-rise district of Avdiivka city, which is heavily bombarded, and I can't tell if the Ukrainians would even hold a defense right there, since they already called for a general withdrawal. we will continue to monitor to see how they can withdraw. There is geolocation of Ukrainian forces just off Kimik, the 9th district. We will continue to see. I'm not sure when is this footage. It's not a very meaningful footage, so it's not uploaded as well. So we will continue to monitor the situation. So in terms of the strategic, overall strategic situation, the Russian forces is now advancing towards the center of Avdiivka. They're pushing towards Lastochkyne. They're closing up the eastern part from the Kruta-Balka direction, and they're pushing north from Spartak direction. And Ukrainian forces is on the withdrawal right now, but whether they can actually withdraw is another story altogether. Despite the command, the orders, does the Ukrainian forces able to receive this command is another story altogether again. We do not know if they can receive all these instructions, so we will continue to see how this progress. And further news is also part of the Avdiivka front, but it's not part of the Battle of Avdiivka. Russian forces have made a lot of advance towards Nevelsky. So this is reported by Deep State US mapping, and then they basically have reached the settlement of Nevelsky. The battle next will be at the settlement itself. So we will continue to monitor. This is strategically important in this area here. Is, I would say, more, so it's more like tactically important in this area, but mainly because there is no more settlements around this entire area. So but strategically speaking, in the grand scale of things, this is not that important as compared to what is happening over at Avdiivka. This is a massive PR disaster for the Ukrainian forces, because Ukrainian counteroffensive did not even capture a single settlement of such importance. So we shall continue to monitor and see how this progress. Thank you for watching. Do press the like button, subscribe, look out for the situation report, which covers the entire front, the entire war in Ukraine. And I'll see you guys in the next update.